I recently filmed the Silent 55 and that was a fascinating tour. This one is the Silent 60 and you might think, well, that's 5 feet longer, it's going to be pretty much the same, isn't it? Just slightly longer. Honestly, the difference in this is unbelievable. It is chalk and cheese. There's so much more space on this boat. It is quite something to behold. So we're going to do a full tour on this one. These are always an interesting boat. They're always a popular boat. People like to see these. And as I say, the difference between this and the 55 is enormous. So we will take a look on board and we'll do the full tour. So we'll head on via this boarding area here. And I think what we will do is take a turn around the decks first of all and then work our way in. So here you've got seating area on the outside straight away, which is nice. That is over one of the cabins, which we'll have a look at obviously when we go inside. And if we take a stroll up around here, then this of course is taking us up to the bow. They've got a lounging area out here. This interestingly is for a kite. I'm not going to open it because one-handed it takes undoing 4 of these and lifting the whole thing clear. That might be a bit of a challenge, but yeah, there's actually a kite you can launch off there and use to help tow the boat on a windy day, so that's pretty impressive. What I can show you however is this one, because if we flip these catches here, look at that for a massive storage void. So that's sort of fenders, warps, all that kind of stuff can all live in there. We're in Port Adriano at the minute, which is a bit of a super yacht place, as you can see. Very impressive. If you've seen my charter videos of the Sunseeker 76, you'll have seen this already. We came around here. I love the lighting that they've put in all the way down. You can see it running all the way down the edge. That's really smart. And then if we wander down this side, you've got another one of those seating areas. And then if we come right aft, one thing that's changed on this boat over the 55 is the fact these now have a platform that lowers right into the water. So if we put a tender on, that drops right down, tender floats on, and up it comes. So it goes into chocks on there. You can see the mechanism for it down underneath. If we head up this way, another big change here, because this is such a much larger area and it's got this seating area here which is under the shelter of the cabin but outside and looking aft. And talking of looking aft, these seats here, you can see you can configure the backrest. You can slide that one across or slide that one forward and sit there facing out across the back of the boat or into the boat, depending on how you're using it. So that's a nice touch. This one here is for a little fridge unit, portable fridge unit, and the one on the other side is storage. But the other thing I'll show you while we're back here, so that one there is just a deck locker, like so. But if we have a wander down here, well then we're getting into the meat of it again, because this one, there we are, takes us into not only an engineering space, but also one of the engines is in here as well. There we go. So these engines are 250 kilowatt each. They're going to give the boat about 12 knots flat out. But the more interesting figure really is when you drop the speed right back, because obviously she is electric powered, she's battery powered, and she's got the solar panels, which we'll have a look at in a moment. And that means that you can drop back to 7 knots and they're using 9 kilowatts per engine. There's a 210 kilowatt of batteries on the boat. But where it gets really fascinating is when you drop down to 5 knots, because the solar panels give you about 17 kilowatts of peak power, so it's a reliable 10 kilowatts of power. She's using 10 kilowatts at 5 knots, so at 5 knots she's self-sufficient. It'll just run completely off of the sun. You can see all the engineering in here. It's quite a fascinating area. You've got the Victron units across here as well, and down here. It's all very, very impressive. Anyway, let's go and have a look on board, because that's also very, very impressive. So we'll come out of here, drop that one back down. I think while we're doing the decks, I will show you those solar panels and the flybridge. There we go, so that drops down like that. And if we come right on up, this is another area which is vastly different to the 55. It's loads bigger, wider, deeper, just huge. You've got the sunbathing area here, or lounging area, seating all the way around here. The backrest of this one will flop over the other way, and that of course opens out. You can see it doubles the size for dining. And like the 55, this bimini that we've got up here will lower and infill. It drops into this groove here. You might think, well, what happens to this? Well, that actually rotates right over to lower the height of that, so that this top will fit flush across here. Very smart. And I mentioned that 17 kilowatt peak of solar power. There it is. Well, there's some of it. Look at that. That is quite an array, isn't it? And of course, it doesn't stop there, because if we come back here, you've got it across here as well. And if we step right on up, you'll see they're up there too. And that is the big news of this. This is why, well, one of the reasons why they use a catamaran, because it gives so much beam and so much space for things like the solar array. But it also means it's a very efficient hull, because it's basically sitting on two narrow keels in the water. It's very easily driven, and of course that's key to getting the range out of a solar driven boat. Okay, this is the mechanism that drops all this down flush. We're going to head on down and head inside, because that is, again, fascinating how much more space there is in this one compared with the 55. The 55 tour should be already on the channel, so look out for that one if you've not seen it already. Now, this is a front master version. What it means is there's a cabin down there which we'll have a look at. There's another version with a walkthrough where you can have the front open, makes this area up here a bit bigger, and you get 4 cabins in the hulls, where this one has 3. So it just depends on your priorities, really. This does have a wonderful cabin, however, at the front, which we'll look at in a moment. But she's galley aft. Again, you're getting that catamaran feel with the beam and the size and the space that you get in here. So obviously you've got your oven and your hob, and just acres and acres of space. Huge fridge freezers over here, American style. And this is all drawers and storage. I won't open it all for obvious reasons. That one there is the dishwasher. And then this is things like bins, for example, and drawers and all the usual bits and pieces that you would expect. So if we head on forward a little bit further, more storage over on this side. So you've got this massive seating area around here, but they refer to this as the cathedral, because look, if I stand here, I am 6'2", and I am nowhere near touching that ceiling. There's so much height in here, it's incredible. And that gives, along with the beam, such a feeling of space. It is remarkable. Helm is down here as well. You may have noticed there was no steering wheel at the upper helm. The reason for that is because you can steer it with this little tiller here, which links to the autopilot. This one's got the wheel as well. Quite often these don't have the wheels, they just have this steering here, and you'll see that on bigger super yachts as well. Throttle controls are here, obviously one for each engine. Do you call them throttles on electric motors? I'm not sure. And then across here you've got your twin thrusters, because of course there are twin keels. You've got autopilot over here. That's a camera there that's showing the back of the boat, and that's the control systems for the boats and so forth. That one's a dock mate. That's giving you like a little walk around remote control, so that as you dock in the boat you can take that out and actually control things as you walk around. Now, I mentioned it was the forward master version. If we head down here, this is huge. Again, taking full advantage of the width of the boat. So we've got a little dressing area over on this side. Loads of storage, as you might imagine. Open that door there and that one there. There we go. You can get a feel for the size of that. And there are 2 of those, because there's another one over on that side. So an absolute ton of space. And then this one has its ensuite just dropping down into this hull here. This is why this one has 3 further cabins, so 4 in total. If you opt for the walkthrough version, well then you get a cabin that comes down through here instead. So this layout does give you more cabin space. It doesn't actually give you more physical cabins. It does give you this wonderful ensuite down here, however. Really nice. Look at the size of this shower. Absolutely fantastic. And then if we spin on round, that's all it is there. Should be some lights in here, shouldn't there? There we go. That's a bit nicer, isn't it? So there we go. That is the ensuite to this master cabin, and it is quite the master cabin. And if we head on back then, over onto this side, we can come back down here. We'll find two walkways downwards. One is down here, the other is down there. We'll take this one first of all. So this then is giving you a massive ensuite here to this cabin behind us. In fact, really that's the day heads, isn't it? Because this has got a separate door on it here. So this would use this as an ensuite at night, but it would also be a day heads during the day. Big double bed in here, little dressing area, and again all that storage space. Like so, hanging locker, etc. So that's one area, so that gives you another complete cabin. Also in here is the washing machine, like so. And if we head across the boat, those battery banks are under the floor, down underneath here. You have to move these seats out of the way to get to them. Once they're in, they're not really a service item, they're just there, but that's where they live and they can be reached. If we drop down this side, so we've seen two cabins. If we come down here, we can go forward. We've got a doorway here, so that just comes across like so. An ensuite here, this has got a sliding door across there. And then in here you've got the shower and you've got the loo and the sink. And then right forward from here, it's a nice cabin actually. A lot of space in here again. These are so roomy. And then again, hanging locker, like so. Dressing area, double bed, big hull windows. Lovely. And if we come back then, we'll come back through this door here, so that's what closes this one off. There's another door here, so these are two completely separate cabins. This one then is cabin 4, and this again, double bed, right back here. And again, all the bits and pieces you would expect. Hanging locker, the ensuite. And so forth. So there we go. Absolutely fascinating. As I say, if you've seen the tour of the 55, then it is incredible how going to a 60 gives you so much more space. And as I say, if you don't want that forward main deck cabin layout, you can opt to have more space here. Two cabins in either hull, so you've still got the 4 cabin layout, and then a walk-through straight onto the bow. So that works really well as well. So that's about it, really. I think that's the full tour, isn't it? Impressive though, isn't it? And that solar running, that is incredible. So that is it, except it's not quite, because we are now going to go and give this fine ship a run. I've never been out on an electric boat before, so this is going to be fascinating. Just want to give you guys a flavour of what electric boating is all about. So stay tuned for that. That's a new video coming real soon. Huge thanks to Silent Yachts, and huge thanks to you guys as ever for watching. We'll catch you on another one of these real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.